This episode is brought to you by TurboTax. TurboTax experts make all your moves count. Filing with 100% accuracy and getting your max refund guaranteed. So whether you started a podcast like this one, side hustled your way to concert tickets, or quit your job to stream video games online full-time, switch to TurboTax and make your moves count. See guarantee details at turbotax.com/guarantees. Experts only available with TurboTax Live.
Hey everybody, thank you for listening to an episode of Horror Movie Night. We're just here to remind you that in about a month from now, we will be doing the Twitter takedown for ALS. So if you go to www.twitch.com/GeekScapeTV, you should be able to find the Twitch stream on June 23rd. I will be live on there right at midnight, and by noon, Scott and Adam will have joined me, and we will be just crushing through movies. So make sure that you are keeping an eye out for all the information that we are dropping about that all around our Facebook page. But now, let's talk about another werewolf movie, since Weird Howling went so well last week.
Weird Howling!
My transformation! Ladies and gentlemen, how stupid are you and your friends? On a scale of starting a horror movie podcast to bungee jumping off the Eiffel Tower, where exactly do you land? This week, we land right in the middle, because we watched American Werewolf in Paris. Adam's questioning his childhood, Matt's making us smoothies, and Scott's ready to rave on Horror Movie Night. So, Adam, this was one of the movies that you would put on a giant list for Scott and I to pull from.
Adam
what we did.
This.
Oh,
yeah.
Shit. Is this an Adam pick?
Yeah.
This is actually funny, because before the last episode we recorded, we were discussing another episode that I had watched the movie for, and you're like, what movie are you talking about? That was on your list too, buddy.
Oh man, I just can't win for losing on this fucking thing. I choose movies that I actively want, and you guys bitch me out, and then I just make a big old list, and all of a sudden the next thing I know, we're watching American Werewolf in Paris, and it's fucking garbage.
Yeah, but you gave us. Hey, that list gave us The Blob, and that was a fun episode. So
that's true. That was bound to happen eventually, though. Here's the thing about American Werewolf in Paris. All right, I watched it maybe 3-4 days ago. Maybe more like 5-6 days ago. I watched it, and I was like, oh, yeah, that was a movie. I've completely forgotten it since then. I know that there was a couple of scenes with some titties.
Yeah.
I remember that much. But...
So I can't say that I love this movie, because that would not be true. But there is a very special place in my heart.
There's a very special place in your pants.
No, heart and pants.
Yeah, it's the tight spot near the front of your pants.
Yeah. This is definitely part of, like, I would say that there was like 5 horror movies that were like the 5 first ones that really got me sucked in. And we've talked about Scream, we've talked about Frighteners, we've talked about Alligator. This one's right up there. I saw this before I saw American Werewolf in London, which may be a big factor in my feelings about it. And I've even been on other podcasts talking about this movie. I think I was on Greatest Movie Ever to discuss this movie before. It's a bad movie. I'm never going to pretend that it's not a bad movie, but I have so much fun with this movie. I still think it's one of the best soundtracks to come out of, like, the 90s horror, because it's just got all that good alternative rock that I love. I know it's not really... as
long as you understand that it's not, like, really good, it's just good for you.
Yeah, it's good for me. It's got the Suicide Machines on it.
Hey, Matt, we got Rose Garden by Suicide Machines coming up. This one's going out to you, buddy.
It's got Mouth by Bush.
Okay, that is the best
Scott,
Bush.
how old were you when you saw this movie for the first time?
What is this? 98?
97.
99. 97?
Yeah.
I was Probably about 14, because I saw it right when it came out on video.
Oh, so you saw it when it was pretty new, eh?
I saw it right when it came out on video because I love werewolves, and it had Bush mouth in it on it.
Yeah.
Like it got sold it for me.
Bushmouth is a great name for like eating someone else.
No, as you said that, I thought you were gonna do the all-star joke, but you went for a little bit more obscure. So congratulations.
I feel like this is sort of for our generation, for the people that sort of grew up in the 90s like us. This is sort of like a formative horror movie. Now, it's not good. I don't think it's a good fucking movie, but it was definitely something that we all saw back then that we all remember somewhat fondly. I remembered it fondly, and that's why I put it on the list. But rewatching it, it was just fucking shit. It was it was a really stupid movie.
So my biggest problem with this movie, watching it now, is that there's a lot of ideas that I still think are pretty cool ideas. And a lot of visuals that, if it wasn't CGI werewolves, I think would have been really, really cool. Like, I will say that probably my favorite werewolf in any movie, just because I like the sequence, is like the werewolf strapped to a hospital bed with his legs cut off, like crawling towards someone. Like that, to me, is just a really cool image. Like, there's a lot of cool pieces of imagery buried in an otherwise mediocre and forgettable movie. I don't think it's a bad movie. It's just a dumb, forgettable movie.
Yeah, well, I guess that the thing that hurts this film the most is the very poorly aged CGI of the werewolves. They really look bad.
Yeah,
and they went full out with it too. Like, they had a lot of CG werewolves in this movie.
And I don't think that really much of the transformations at all were based in practical effects, then layered with CGI. I think that that's like kind of a CGI 2.0 kind of concept, where in the mid-90s, when they were doing movies like American Werewolf in Paris, it was like full speed ahead, completely CGI, so we only have to do mocap. We don't actually have to do, because like the Thing remake that they did in like 2011 or whatever it was, they did almost completely practical, and then they were going to layer CGI over top of it, and then some suits got involved and were like, more CGI, and so they like completely ruined that film because they took out a lot of the practical effects. This movie, I'm pretty sure, is completely CGI. I don't think that any of those shots look like they were CGI'd over top of practical effects, and that is the worst thing that you could do.
Yeah,
no, I don't think there was a single practical transformation in this movie.
No, I think literally the Gurney wolf is the only one that's ever for a second not CGI when it's crawling.
You're right. That one that's an actual suit, but I'm pretty sure that's the only suit. Although that when Julie Delpy takes her top off, that might be. But it's also such a quick cut, and it's like shaky cam and stuff that I couldn't quite tell. But as I said, I think that's the biggest problem with this film, is that it just doesn't age well. Also,
they kill the best character really fast, because that's my other issue. I was always bummed about that.
Which character?
His friend that gets killed, to me, is like the best character in the movie, and he gets like axed so quickly in this film that it...
But the thing is that you need to have, if it's going to be the spiritual successor, which is exactly what it was, of American Werewolf in London, you have to have the best friend who's a zombie ghost.
Yeah. So do you know the story, and I think I've mentioned this, I may have mentioned this in Reddit Horror Club days, and I'm sure you guys have forgotten it now, but do you know the story of the screenplay for this movie? Like, who is credited for writing it, even though they didn't write it?
No, tell us.
The writer of this script was Tom Stern, who was the writer-director of Freaked. And
holy shit! How have you never told us this story before?
So what happened was, when he sold Freaked, when they took Freaked to 20th Century Fox, the deal was that they were going to make Freaked, and that he would get to write American Werewolf in Paris, which was an idea that he had wanted to do for years, and that he would write a movie called Pinocchio's Revenge, which is what he wanted to do for years. When they like purposely made Freaked bomb, they bought those scripts off of him and then just threw them to some other writer, but kept his name on it. He said that there's not a single page or word from his original American Werewolf in Paris script anywhere in this movie, but like it's on his resume now for like all eternity as one of the things that he wrote. Because just like,
wouldn't you love to be attached to this fucking man?
Because he's like, I'll tell you one thing that wasn't in my script: some fucking bungee jumping off the Eiffel Tower wasn't anywhere in mine. Like,
but it was the 90s. Stuff was so extreme back then. We had the X Games.
Yeah,
and shit
this
was
is definitely
extreme.
This is definitely that post-grunge era where we went past like wanting to be boring slackers to being like, we're gonna jump off everything. Like, it was such like a dramatic shift. Yeah, this movie just it really is forgettable. There's the topless scene, which we could talk about for hours. That to me, if Critters 2 was Scott's movie, that like 5 to 10 seconds in this was mine for a long time.
Yeah, that VHS tape, it took let's just say it took a beating.
Yeah.
Well, allow me to embarrass myself here. That was a large portion of why I chose this movie, because I remembered it having, nudity in it, and I liked that when I was younger, when I was like 12 or whatever, when this fucking thing came out, or when I saw it for the first time at least. But that scene it's almost nothing. Yeah, there's really nothing to it.
If you took that scene out of this movie, it could have been a PG-13 film, like
easily. Yeah. And I think what I was thinking at the time when I was like 12, 13 was like, I would also like to touch boobs. That'd be cool. I could do that as well.
Delphi's boobs.
Yeah, Julie, like, I'd like maybe bigger boobs than that, but whatever. I'm not going to complain. I'm 12, 13. I'll take what I can get here, all right? Like,
and look, she's saying that it will relax 26. You, and it probably would have.
Honestly, if Julie Delpy was in front of you, I don't think that you'd be complaining about the size of her breasts.
Yeah.
Well, I'm a grown man now. I just pay to touch tits.
So Julie Delpy is also 1,000 times better than when Tom Everett Scott finds the most obnoxious American girl in history in the middle of this movie.
Yes. By the way, I watched this movie with headphones on, as I am wont to do for this podcast. But the entire time in my brain, all I'm screaming is Claire, because that's the mom's Modern Family.
Oh shit!
Didn't realize that. I mean,
well,
she had a good amount of work done.
Well, I've only ever had Modern Family. Like, I've only ever caught like the last like 5 minutes of episodes before wrestling comes on. But
oh man, Modern Family's a decent show. You should check
everything
that out.
That I've seen, I've enjoyed. I just have to like sit down, and I feel like it's one of those shows that I really should probably start at the beginning and work my way through instead of just like grabbing random episodes. Because
Julie Bowen is her name,
yes,
by the way.
There we go. But yeah, this movie's just kind of, I don't know. It's such a weird movie because it's one of those. I feel like everyone has like one or two movies where it's like every part of you knows when you're watching it that it's a bad movie, and even like deep down you probably know that you don't enjoy it, but you're just like, no, but like the power of nostalgia just like gets you through it every single time, and that's this one for me. Every time I watch it, I'm more and more aware that it is not a good movie, but like I watch it and reminisce.
I spent the whole time watching it, giving it way more breaks than it really deserved.
Yeah.
To have.
No, and I think that's what I'm trying to say. Like, but I watched this movie so much as a kid. Like, I still knew when I was watching it for this, I knew every like music cue. I knew like I just had it all down. Oh, you know what's another part that I really like in this movie that's a cool concept is because like I said, this movie's got lots of cool concepts. I like the concept of like using the fucking injection so that you can turn into a werewolf whenever you want instead of having to wait on the moon, and like the look of when they're all in the monk robes, but like they're handcuffed to people and stuff. Like there's, like I said, there's occasionally really cool ideas in this movie, but
I dislike the idea of the injections just because it gives the movie more excuses to show bad CG transformation.
That's very true.
But like, if it was a good werewolf transformation.
Well, if this was a different movie, then yes, it would be a pretty good fucking movie. If me and you sat down and rewrote this with John Hamm as the main character, it'd be pretty
God.
Can you imagine John Hamm like looking at the camera and just being like, "I'm Spartacus"?
I don't know though. Could John Hamm have the same charisma as Tom Everett Scott?
Sorry, did you mistake this main character for having charisma in this movie?
Dude, do you remember that like year that Tom Everett Scott was in everything and then was just gone?
I remember that year that Tom Everett Scott was in like 2 movies, and you watched them both and thought that he was in a lot of movies.
Loved. Yes, yeah.
Look, he was in. I think you're sleeping on his best movie then, because there was this, there was That Thing You Do, and then there was the masterpiece known as Dead Man on Campus.
Hey, let's suppose how's it hanging?
I did forget about Dead Man on Campus.
God, fucking, you're not even British.
I rewatched that like fairly recently, and that movie absolutely holds up. Like I didn't think it would, and I was blown away by how funny it is.
Dead Man on Campus is amazing. Oh my god. Ichabod Crane, back when I had my metal band, we were going to do a fucking Matt Noonan t-shirt because that character is hilarious. Like, and we used his quotes constantly. Actually, can you swap out the regular horror movie night intro for this? What good is sitting alone in your room? Come feel the music play. Life is a cab. Oh, fuck me.
Oh my god.
I loved him, man. I can't this.
My brother will, every once in a while, my brother will try to call me and I'll be at work and I don't get the phone call, but I'll see that I have a voicemail and I'm like, all right, let's hear what this is. And like 9 times out of 10, the voicemail is just him doing Cliff's rap from Dead Man on Campus. He's like, my name is Cliff, brother of Joe. I got me some smack. I want me some hose.
Oh, they hate it when you do this. Oh my god.
Man, we should have just watched Dead Man on Campus. It would have been a better episode.
No, this is Dead Man on Campus.
Please stop. I'm quitting this podcast. Stop. I'm quitting this podcast.
We'll see
Stop.
next week, Adam.
I'm quitting this podcast.
You there, buddy?
So what did you guys watch this week?
Obviously, Dead Man on Campus.
Well, you're about to. I'm sure of that.
So wait, is there anything else we want to go over with American Werewolf in
I have
Paris?
I have like 30 fucking notes for this movie, and we have not touched any of them.
All right, go crush
Fucking
it. Crush
burn
it.
them down, man. Burn them down. Get us
Go.
there.
Bullet point 1. You always know they're a doctor by their white lab coat. Where is that scientists? Doesn't matter. This movie doesn't matter. Why do werewolves sound like lions? Scott Stapp is a real doucher here. That's the
His
friend that only
yeah.
wears a muscle shirt. Bungee jumping off the Eiffel Tower seems like such a fucking dumb idea. Would splattering yourself kill a lycanthrope, or would you just reform from the pink goo? It's a good question.
Well, Monster Squad would say that if it's not a silver bullet, the death doesn't hold.
True, as does if you're going to take Blade as another monster movie trope, you can cut where a vampire in half, and the blood will recongeal. And okay, so Julie Delpy was a serious crush for me in high school. Matt feels me on that. I remember renting this tape multiple times, but then we go up to the Eiffel Tower to drink wine and not bungee. I forgot that they did not go originally up to the Eiffel Tower to bungee. It was to drink wine, I guess. But then there's a Smash Mouth montage.
End this. Kill me. Kill me. Kill me.
Man, I hope that doesn't become a thing on the podcast because
What, you don't like our 4th host?
it's Adam is now Cyborg from Justice League.
We'll call it Appum.
Y'all ever see that movie, Her?
Adam, are you going to become my lover?
I look a bit like. I mean, if I don't shower for a couple days, I look a little bit like Joaquin Phoenix.
I thought you were going to say that you look like Scarlett Johansson. I'm like, yeah, you do, girlfriend. But we're missing the best part of this movie, the Smash Mouth montage. It really dates it at 1997.
Yeah, I did appreciate their use of fucking Smash.
The
Only song in the movie not to make it on the soundtrack, too, just side note.
you want to know why? because it probably cost too much in royalties. Because Smash Mouth was making fucking bank in '97.
Yeah.
And now look at them.
Now people throw loaves of bread at them in concert.
Well, or their song is just the most random. Like, they have replaced Rickrolling now.
Yes, yeah. All Star is it. But this wasn't All Star. It was Walking on the Sun, wasn't it?
Which is definitely the better of their singles.
I mean, that's not saying much. But anyway, so
I mean, it's all bad music. If you're listening to Smash Mouth, man, you might as well be walking on the sun, man.
Well, I have quite a few of their.
Yeah, that was pretty weak. Let's cut. Let's. I quit. I'm quitting the.
Low energy, Adam. All right, so the best character in this movie is the head of the bad werewolves who goes, "I love Americans." That club scene actually is my favorite part of the movie, though. It's kind of nightmarish when they're like, "Hoo, hoo, hoo," they're in their little huddle, and then the strobes hitting real hard, and the music gets like all industrial because it's so brutal, and then they start turning into werewolves and eating people, which that scene is cool. That I will give this movie that. That's about the only good thing I can say about the movie. But the CGI looks bad.
What is that band that does the like Du Hast song? What is that?
Rammstein,
yeah.
Yeah, but this is they're called Carolina Spine, I think is their
Well,
name.
I'm just saying, like, if Rammstein had been around at the time, they definitely would have.
Oh, they were.
They
were.
They just weren't popular enough in America.
Yeah, it was like a year or two later they like had Du Hast.
Du Hast came out in '98. I'm almost positive.
Yeah, they just missed their big chance to be on the American Werewolf in Paris soundtrack.
Almost squeaked in there.
Yeah. I have another question for you guys. Why would 6 fucking werewolves need to eat 30 people?
Yeah, it seems excessive, especially when she makes him that smoothie that has like 1 heart in it, right? And that's good. Like he's set after that.
Yeah.
So it seems like maybe they have like eating disorders or something.
Maybe
they're
that's
just
the only
binge and purge.
Well,
yeah,
maybe
they're
that's
just gonna
like
binge and purge.
maybe they don't eat until the next full moon. Like in their human bodies, they're just like, whatever. I'm all full from those humans that I destroyed.
They maul 6 people apiece, or say 5 people apiece, and then they're like laying around holding their like food babies, and they're like, "Oh, I ate so many Americans, I'm so fat." And then they're like,
or their fridge is just filled with body parts. Like,
I want them to be like pretty gaunt Frenchmen, and then they turn into werewolves, eat all those people, and when they like revert back, they're just
fat
big old
Americans.
fat. Yeah, they're just fat people. Like,
this movie could have been so much better if it would have had actual criticism of Americans. If it would have taken us Americans down a peg as shitty tourists, it would have been amazing. But all it did was kind of reinforce how fucking cool, like, and extreme these dudes were. I don't know. It wasn't like, if we're talking European vacation films from the 90s, I mean, Euro Trip did it better.
If this movie was made by actual French people, they 100% would have spit right in your face, and Americans would not be portrayed very nicely in this movie. But it was made by Americans in France, so
yeah, okay, that explains a lot. But then we're finally past all the stuff that doesn't matter, and we get to the Julie Delpy topless scene, and I just imagine Matt like trying to cup boobs in the air, going "ow!"
Yep.
While we watch the scene.
Literally in my bed, doing just that as that happens.
I feel like that's a weekly occurrence for Matt. Maybe it's only monthly. Maybe it has to do with the full moon. I don't know.
Yeah.
Here's another question: can werewolves see each other's ghosts?
like see the like zombie people that are walking around. Like...
you killed, yeah, like. It's just something to think about. It doesn't really matter because nothing in this movie matters. But
does Julie Delpy ever acknowledge the guy that's following him around?
Well, Tom Everett Scott sees her mom, so
that's why I asked that. Yeah, right there. It's just weird. It doesn't matter.
I think the werewolves see the American girl that he murdered when she's like screaming for their attention when he's hiding.
Yeah, I thought so too, but it's not very well fleshed out. Doesn't matter. Again, none of this matters.
When the script calls for it, I guess.
Yes, exactly. So, did you guys remember that movie Senseless with with one of the Wayans brothers in it?
Yeah, and David Spade.
Okay, well, of course Matt remembers it. There's seriously a senseless montage in this movie where Tom Everett Scott starts to get his werewolf senses, and then the dog starts humping his leg. That is absolutely
Holy shit! You're right.
Yeah, I know. So then you meet Julie Bowen's character, and he like sniffs the air, and he's like, "Is that Hello Kitty or something like that?" And I thought that he was going to be like, "Wait, I smell two people fucking."
I mean, I don't have to be a werewolf to smell sex from a while away.
Wow,
That's how
really
gross
are a
sex is.
superhero. Oh, maybe your sex. I mean, my sex smells like rose petals.
I will have to refer to the case of Outcast v. Roses in this situation. It turns out that roses really smell like poo-poo-poo.
Which I could not believe was the actual lyric to that song when I looked up the lyrics.
I thought it was the radio edit.
Y'all are giving Andre 3000 too much credit.
Man,
but he was the best. He was the better of the outcasts.
Well, yeah, no shit. Big Boy thinks the Earth is flat.
Wait, is he in the current administration's cabinet?
Give it
so
time.
When we get to the penultimate scene in this film where they are having another Americans only party in this burnt out cathedral, the head werewolf has another great line. He goes, "We are free from the trappings of technological advance." And then I'm like, and my question is, how will you cut your ridiculous sideburns then, man? Because he has gigantic sideburns, but they don't really. It's not that funny, so you probably cut that.
I think scissors have been around for a while, Scott. You could probably take care of those.
I don't know. So there's a really weird part where there's an upbeat rock song playing when Andy runs away from everybody.
Oh, that's fastball.
Is it fastball? Okay,
yeah.
It's very, very. It's like they had one song left on the soundtrack. They're like, we got to add this to the movie somehow, and this is just where it fell.
Makes sense. Yeah, when he's running down the stairwell and everything.
Yeah,
100% fastball.
Matt, I'm just going to throw this out here. What is track 4 of this soundtrack?
I'm pretty sure track 4 is the song by the Refreshments.
Right, I'm looking it up.
That's on the train. When they're on the train. Or it's better. It's either the Refreshments or it's the Better Than Ezra song. It's one of those two.
Better Than Ezra is number 3.
Damn it!
Cake. It's Cake. It's never going to give you up by Cake.
Oh, I don't even remember that song in this movie.
You're way off, Matt. God, get off this call. You're no longer.
All right, continue your notes, Scott.
That's it. Bad CGI is my last note. That's it. I just deleted my notes. I'm done.
Okay, so there's a. I do want to give a quick shout out to the American Werewolf in Paris soundtrack for the last.
Yeah, it's listening. It's listening to you, Matt. Time to shine.
All right, the last song on this soundtrack is a song called "Love Beast in Paris."
By Smooth Diamonds?
Yes, that would be the one. It is an R&B song, and it is the shittiest song I think I've ever heard in my entire life. Because it is literally a dude who is trying to write a sexy love anthem while also trying to tie it into the movie American Werewolf in Paris. So he's making like weird wolf growls, but he's trying to do it like sexy to go with the song. It's horrendous. So
he's really going for it, eh?
Yeah. So definitely, if you have some time, check out Love Beast in Paris.
This episode is brought to you by TurboTax. TurboTax experts make all your moves count. Filing with 100% accuracy and getting your max refund guaranteed. So whether you started a podcast like this one, side hustled your way to concert tickets, or quit your job to stream video games online full-time, switch to TurboTax and make your moves count. See guarantee details at turbotax.com/guarantees. Experts only available with TurboTax Live.
So what did you guys watch this week?
I finally watched the original, and I'm embarrassed to say that I never watched it until now, but I finally watched the original 1961 or 1960 13 Ghosts. It's on Shudder, and it was a delight.
That has Vincent Price in it, correct?
No, it does not.
No?
No, it's William Castle.
It's a William Castle film, but it's one of the three big ones, right? It was 13 Ghosts, The Tingler, and what's the third one where they had all the they did
he did House on Haunted Hill as well.
House on Haunted Hill, yeah.
Well, I thought for a second there that it was Positively Ghoulish, but
no, this is one of the non-positively ghoulish films from that era.
And the weirdest thing about it really is the fact that the pacing is so odd. Like, there's no action, and you're like 5 minutes away from the end of the movie, and you think, well, how are they going to wrap up? Because I know how the movie's going to end, because I saw the remake. How are you going to wrap this movie up in 5 minutes or less? And then they do it. It's just crazy.
You know what? Actually, I just realized I don't think I've ever seen that one. I was like, yeah, I've seen that, but I'm thinking of the original House on Haunted Hill. No.
For original 13 Ghosts is, I don't know why I never desired to watch it, but it has
to be dramatically different than the remake.
It's incredibly different. Yeah. It's got the same general cast in different places. I will say that I would pick the remake any day over the original. But it's still fun. I'd give it a watch.
You go ahead, Matthew. I'm gonna bring us home in a minute here.
Ooh, I hope that means what I think it means. I am going to give a quick shout out to a podcast that is only about 2 episodes deep right now, and I'm really, really digging it. It's called Labeled: The Rumors, Myths, and Legends of Tooth and Nail Records. It is a podcast hosted by 2 of the members of Emery and the drummer from As Cities Burn. Each episode focusing on a different band that was on Tooth and Nail Records and going through all of the history of that band. The first episode is on Further Seems Forever, which is one of my all-time favorite bands, and I found that episode absolutely interesting and captivating. Kind of
Chris Carrabba, Further Seems Forever?
Yeah, they interview Chris Carrabba, they interview Jason, who was the second vocalist, they interview the guys who recorded the albums. They really break down why they could not keep a lead singer for the life of them. But I will say that there's a lot of cool stuff that to be noted in there, but the thing that caught me off guard that I didn't realize was that they never once played a single show with Chris Carrabba as their lead singer after after their first album came out. He had already quit the band before they went in the studio, because he had given them a bunch of Dashboard Confessional songs and they said no to them. So he started playing acoustically and was getting offers to do Dashboard solo. So he basically said that he would not record the vocals to the album unless he got released from his Tooth and Nail contract to go elsewhere with Dashboard music. So that was kind of an interesting thing that I never had a clue about. But there's tons of interesting things about that band throughout that entire 45-minute episode. So if you're a fan of the band at all, definitely worth checking out. And Adam, take us home. And maybe, should I be looking at the clock?
Flavor man. Flavor man. Flavor man.
All right. So I tell you what I did in the interim. We had quite a lengthy break between the last time that we recorded an episode and this block of episodes that we're recording right now, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Well, what I went ahead and did was watch the entirety of Season 3 of Flavor of Love.
Oh my God.
We are not done the saga that is Season 2 yet, because there's too much to dig into there. But let's go over. I'll just give you a general overview of everything that happened in Season 3 of. And I watched it in about 4 days. I burned through 16 episodes in 4 days. Just fucking slammed them right out. 45 minutes per episode, by the way.
Jesus.
So you know that my time is valuable. So Season 3 of Flavor of Love is kind of like an anomaly in that Flavor did not want to do it. He was contractually obligated to do it, which gives you a sort of an idea of, just how serious you should take the first 2 seasons, right? If he ends up with a woman, I mean, he's already contractually obligated to do the 3rd season, so how's that fucking relationship going to play out, you think?
Yeah.
So the Season 1 winner went on to date Shaquille O'Neal. actually. She dated Shaquille O'Neal.
How'd that work out for
Well, she actually told everybody about how big his penis was, which apparently fucking huge. Like the size, like we're normal sized people, right? Shaquille O'Neal is a giant among men. His penis is apparently the size of one of our legs. So
Wow. I mean, maybe I need to work my legs out more.
Yeah, I mean, you don't skip leg days, Scott. You don't skip leg days.
Unless you're Hugh Jackman.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's true. And then the season 2 winner, Flav, claims that she left him so that she could go and promote a line of blue jeans that she was releasing. She denies that, but I don't know. I'm not sure. I don't know whose side to take. I tend to lean towards Flav's side because, God, I fucking love that golem of a man. All right. So, anyways, that just gives you the kind of headspace that Flav is in when we get into this season, right? He doesn't want to do it. He doesn't want to be here. He's contractually fucking being forced to do it. Just wants nothing to do with it, all right? So, he opens the show by saying, like, yo, there's not going to be a season 4. I'm going to find love. I have to find love because I'm not fucking doing this again. Like, I'm just not – I don't want to do it again, right? So, same as all the other seasons, he gives, all the girls nicknames because he's just a horrible, terrible person. So here's a couple of nicknames for you. Hot Lanta.
Ugh.
Seasons with a Z at the end there. Sincere, spelled Sinceer. Sincere. And then there's twins. There's twins on this season. So he names them Thing 1 and Thing 2. Now, when they first meet them, it is heavily implied that their intention is to have a threesome with Flavor Flav.
Ugh.
That seems like it. He's like, well, what do I do if I got to send one of y'all home? And they're like, nah, you're not going to have to do that, Flav. I mean, you can have us both, man. What's up? Like,
God, I'm cringing my face off.
Man, it's gross as fuck. It's super gross. So, anyways, that's whatever. So, 5 of the girls that are in this first episode were voted in on VH1.com, like voted in by internet poll or whatever, and the internet chose the ugliest, worst girls to go on the show. And Flav sends 4 out of 5 of these internet picks home this episode. He sends them home in the elimination ceremony, and he straight mugs to the camera, and he's like, "Yo, internet, what the fuck? Like, why y'all doing this to me?" And it's like, well, Flav, because it's funny. Like, obviously, why not? Like. So all right, we'll speed right through elimination ceremonies. One of the girls was on the Oprah Winfrey show, and she went on a date with Usher. Flav's not cool with that, sends her home. Another girl.
What does he care?
I don't know. She just seems like she's sort of there for exposure. That's, I guess, the issue that he has with it.
And I think she's the only one that's on the show for exposure. The rest are definitely looking for love.
Oh, they're all sincere. Anyways, another one of the girls by the other women in the house is accused of having herpes. So Flav calls a doctor and has a doctor come over and poke her in the lip with a fucking needle.
What?
And she literally gets a needle in the lip, and it turns out that she just had a pimple. She just had a pimple on her lip. So that's embarrassing that you had to get tested for herpes on live, on television in front of hundreds of thousands of people. Another girl gets made fun of because she has really bad breath. Like, her teeth are just fucked. Like, she's got really, really poor hygiene as far as her teeth are concerned.
She's not flossing. She's probably spitting up blood all the time.
Do we need to look at the big book of British smiles? So she goes to a dentist and tries to get that taken care of, and the dentist is like, yeah, your teeth are so fucked that it's probably going to cost $20,000 to do everything that we need to do.
That's so bad. Oh my God.
Her fucking mouth is in bad shape. so she goes back to Flav and she's like, I don't got the money for that, but I made this necklace and it's made out of breath mints, so that whenever I'm near you, I'm gonna be chewing on some breath mints. And Flav's like, yeah, no, that's not good enough. I'm sending you home. So she gets sent home.
That's so awful, dude, and that sucks so bad because like I'm sure that half of her problem is that she's eating sugar too much, and then she's like, I just made this necklace out of sugar candies.
Yeah, she's really doubling down on it and just not helping anything. And this girl worked in media before she came on the show, so she was like a television host and would worked on radio and stuff like that. And at the end of every season, there's sort of like a reunion episode where it's 8 months after the show is finished airing and all the girls come back. And this girl comes back at the end of in the reunion episode, and she's like, yeah, I can't find work anymore. I'm the bad breath girl everywhere I go.
Holy shit.
This show ruined my career. It fucked me. So,
shit. This is the most depressing fucking ending to our podcast.
Well, I mean, that's, like I said, right
he's keeping it real.
Right from the get-go, Flav doesn't want to be here. The whole thing's bullshit. It's just a fucking charade, right? This is the worst season of Flavor of Love. Season 2, best season. I'm telling you right now. Best season. Anyway, so we'll skip ahead here. So a couple of the girls are having pretty obvious financial problems. Hot Lanta has 4 or 5 kids at home that
Jesus.
They're getting evicted, by the way. While she's in the house, she gets an eviction notice. And Flav's like, hey, maybe you should go deal with that. And she's like, nah, I'll stay here. I want to be with you, Flav.
Oh my god.
It's like, yeah, no,
what are you doing to us?
Well, he's like, yo, yeah, that's not cool. I'm sending you home. You're going home now. So she gets sent home. I think it's either Thing 1 or Thing 2. I'm not sure which one. But one of the twins gets sent home because she's just not feeling Flav as much as the other one. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So one of the twins gets sent home, and then one of the other girls is all like, oh, Flav, now that her sister got sent home, she's having a real hard time. Can't handle it here. She's having a real rough time. Can't handle it without her sister. I think she's a bit of a pussy. I think she can't stand on her own, You know what I'm saying? So Flav's like, yeah, I totally buy that. I'm going to send her home. He sends her home. 2 episodes later, he brings her back. Fucking brings her back in. And she goes on to win the season. All right? Now we're gonna do the reunion episode. So the reunion episode starts up, and all the girls are trying to fist fight each other because they fucking hate each other. They're all throwing shoes at each other and shit like that, just going crazy, just going nuts, right? Flav brings out one of the things, Thing 1 or 2, I forget. I think it's Thing 2. So he brings out Thing 2, and the host of the show is like, so how's it going? How's your relationship with Flav going? And she's like, oh, I haven't seen him in a while. The last time I saw him, he took me to Benihana. So that was the last time I saw him. And Flav's like, I really care about you. You're important to me, but I got a baby mama that just had my kid recently, very recently, 8 months ago, had my kid. So he brings the baby mama out, and he goes, I've been looking for love. I've been doing this show looking for a woman, but turns out true love was in front of me all the time. And he proposes to her on TV on the reunion episode of season 3 of Flavor of Love. He proposes to her, and she says yes. Now, if you guys would open up your Skype chat, please. I'm going to send you some images right now.
Oh, God.
I've never been more terrified to receive anything in this chat.
So here she is on the reunion episode. When he...
Is that the baby mama?
That's the baby mama. Okay? This is a couple years later.
Oh, God. This is body horror, isn't it? Oh, my God.
I know, right? She aged centuries.
Dude, did you pick the worst fucking picture that you could find of her?
Ah, man, that's just what she looks like now. She does not look okay. I think she might have developed a drug habit or something.
You think?
Yeah, between then and now, she's really fucked up. Anyways, that's Flavor of Love Season 3.
God damn it. So that was American Werewolf in Paris from 1997, as picked by Adam. Sort of. Just a quick reminder that, as always, we are doing the Twitter takedown, but also it is important for us to call out that we are on a quest, and that quest is for us to get 40 reviews on iTunes. I believe we're officially at the halfway mark at 20, so keep those reviews coming. If we get to the full 40, the goal ideally would be that we would get to the full 40 in time for the Twitter takedown, so that not only will Scott have to read this fanfic live on the podcast, but he'll have to do it live on the Twitch stream, which would be even better.
I prefer to do it that way, though.
Yeah, so we can see every visually confusing facial expression while he's reading it. So get those reviews and rates and reviews in for us. We're honestly, we set the bar at 40. We thought that was a little high, but the fact that we're as close, like already past the halfway point, is pretty awesome. And that's without us ever mentioning it on the podcast. That was strictly with us mentioning it on the Facebook page. So keep up the great work, and get ready for that Twitter takedown. We've got a lot of cool stuff coming around the corner, and we will have a guest with us next week as we talk about something with like dead television zombies or whatever.
You're listening to the Geekscape Network.